quiet house in a state in the west of Ireland does not look like the start of a mystery. It looks calm, ordinary, the kind of place where people walk dogs and complain about the weather, not the kind of place where the ground hides secrets. But in Tuam County, Galway, the ground has been telling a story for years, and recently it spoke again because Irish authorities have just confirmed that more infant human remains have been recovered at the site of the former Bon Secours mother and baby home. 22 more tiny lives found during an ongoing state excavation. And yes, this story is still happening right now. So let's rewind. The building at the center of this story opened in the mid 1920s and closed in the early 1960s. It was run by the Bon Secure sisters. On paper, it was the mother and baby home, a place for unmarried pregnant women and their children. Now pause right there, because if you understand Irish history, you already know the tone of this story is about to change. For decades, Ireland was deeply conservative and strongly influenced by the Catholic Church. Being an unmarried pregnant woman was considered shameful. Families often send daughters away to institutions like this one. The idea was simple: give birth quietly, work, stay out of public view, and in many cases, the children were adopted. That was the official version. The real story began to surface decades later, and it started with one woman asking a question that nobody else had asked loudly enough. Her name was Catherine Collis, a local historian, not a detective, not a journalist, just someone who decided to look at old records. And this is where things stop being quiet and starts being shocking. She found records showing that 796 children had died at the Tuam home during its years of operation. 796. Now, here comes the twist that made the entire country freeze. She could not find burial records for most of them. No cemetery documents, no grave locations, no official burial lists, just dead records and silence. Imagine discovering that hundreds of children died somewhere, and nobody knows where they were buried. There is the moment this story changed forever. At first, the discovery shocked Ireland. Then it spread worldwide, because this was no longer history, this was a national mystery. Attention turned to the site itself, and local knowledge suggested something disturbing: that human remains may be located in an underground structure that had once been part of a sewage system on the property. Yes, you heard that correctly, and yes, the entire country reacted the same way you just did. So, authorities launched a forensic test excavation between the mid 2010s. This was not a full dig yet. This was the careful scientific version of let's check if this is real. And it was real. Investigators confirmed that the remains of babies and young children were present in underground chambers at the site. That moment changed everything, because now the story was no longer about missing records. It was about real remains, real children, real families who never got answers. Ireland faced a painful national reckoning because Tuam was not just one building, it became the symbol of the wider mother and baby home scandal. A national investigation later concluded that around 9,000 children died in similar institutions across Ireland over many decades. 9,000. Let that number sit for a second. Tuam became the place where the country decided to confront the past in the most literal way possible by digging into the ground and uncovering the truth. The Irish government approved the full excavation and identification program. The mission was clear: recover the remains, attempt DNA identification, provide proper burials. This became the first large-scale state recovery of remains from one of these homes. A historic decision, a painful one, and a slow one. Because real forensic excavation is not dramatic, it is careful, precise, methodical. So their job is to examine the underground chambers piece by piece. Archaeological excavation, forensic examination, DNA sampling, every step is done with extreme care. And now we reach the latest development that brought Tuam back into headlines. Authorities have confirmed the recovery of 22 additional infant remains at the site. This happened during renewed forensic work inside the underground structure that investigator has been examining for years. This update confirms something important. The excavation is still ongoing. The chambers are still being examined. The story is still unfolding. This is not a finished case. This is a living investigation. The long-term goals remain the same. Identify as many children as possible through DNA. Return remains to families where possible. Provide dignified burial and memorialization. And here is the part of the story that feels quiet but powerful. There are no dramatic arrests, no sudden villain reveal. This is not that kind of true crime story. This is a story about institutions, silence, social attitudes, and the slow process of uncovering truth decades later. The recovery of additional remains is not the end of the story. It is another step in a process that may take years. Every layer of soil removed brings the possibility of answers for families, for communities, for a country still facing its past. And it is all started because one historian asked the simple question: where were the children buried? Sometimes the biggest mysteries begin with the quietest questions. So, if you want fast updates on Irish true crime, subscribe. We cover everything before it hits mainstream headlines. Thank you.